a story told that can't be real, somehow must reflect the truth we feel, yeah.
This is from the Associated Press. It says, several recent books assail faith quite bluntly. Religion kills. The latest front in culture wars. Atheists attack. The time for polite debate seems to be over. Atheist writers are making an all-out assault on religious faith and reaching the top of bestseller lists in a possible sign of resentment among non-believers over the influence of religion in the world. Now let me just go back, look over those sentences I just read again, and pull out some key words that I think are noteworthy. Assail. Wars. Attack. Assault. Hey, Associated Press, what's up with all the combat metaphors?
Yeah.
I don't think my experience having read books by Dawkins and Harris is that they are not the ones who are introducing them primarily into their books. I'd also like to focus on this phrase right here. The time for polite debate appears to be over. Excuse me, what is writing a book? You know, these books lay out the arguments for atheism and talk about why atheism makes sense as a worldview. Last time I checked, you don't go to Borders and buy assault rifles along with your novels.
Yeah.
What is a book except for an attempt to write something that other people will hopefully read, preferably a lot of people, so you can make a lot of money and they will agree with it or have interesting discussions about it? Is that not polite debate?
Well, I think it goes beyond that, and I think it's a big fat lie. What have we seen as the outcome of these books by Harris, Dennett, Dawkins, and Hitchens? Debates. Public debates. For the first time in my life, in 38 years, I can watch on television, over the internet, whatever other media, real debates on the issue of religion. And I think that's what's terrifying some people. For a long time, the religion was just presumed to be the status quo. Mm-hmm. That, everybody's going to be religious and we're all just going to get along and oh yeah, there's some, Madeline Murray O'Hare maybe this disgruntled atheist, but we can, largely dismiss that. Well, now they can't dismiss it because what we're seeing is real debates, real intellectual criticism of religion, and religion can't stand it. When I was watching, there's a clip from the Bill O'Reilly show with Kirk Cameron on there, mm-hmm. talking about the debate that they had with the Rational Response Squad, Brian Sapient and Kelly M. And Bill was like, what happened there? They just got really mean on you. And Kirk was like, yeah, I was so surprised these atheists got so mean and nasty.
Now let me show you my picture of a crocoduck.
Here's a picture of a crocoduck. And what they're doing is confusing frustration over this completely idiotic proposition.
What they're not doing is taking the discussion seriously by bringing up these ridiculous points.
Right.
And then they're telling people that to take the discussion seriously is to be angry.
Yeah. If I decide that we're going to have a debate on evolution and you show up and your evidence against evolution is a picture photoshopped of a crocodile's head on a duck and call it a crocoduck, we don't find these in nature, therefore evolution's a lie. I think whoever is debating you not only is justified in feeling frustrated and angry, they're probably justified in calling you a complete frickin' idiot.
Yeah. There are sometimes when calling people names is not an ad hominem. If the names happen to be accurate.
Yeah, if I tell you that you are completely ignorant of the theory of evolution and the biological evidence in favor of it, that's not necessarily an attack on you in order to discredit your claims. What it's saying is that you keep presenting these ridiculous claims about crocoducks and crap, It's one of the reasons why Dawkins and some others have refused to debate creationists, because they don't want to lend any credence to what they say. Now, they've broken this on a few occasions.
Yeah, that's true.
And done the debates. But, just because, never mind. You continue.
Well, let me zero in on Richard Dawkins for a couple of minutes, because Richard Dawkins is a guy who gets singled out a lot as one of the angry atheists, and in particular, like you just said, the atheist pope. And
without the funny hat.
Right. Well, actually, one interesting thing about the use of the word pope is that religious terms are slung around in order to insult people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of funny. I mean, it's meant in kind of an ironic way, but you notice that when a religious person wants to discredit something, they seem to overwhelmingly often go for the, you're another religion.
Yes.
Metaphor.
I'm fine with all those other religions that are just another religion, but your religion that's just another religion, that one really bugs me.
Yeah. And it's funny that Richard Dawkins gets called angry so often, because the adjective that comes to mind most when I see Richard Dawkins, I'm sorry, is cute. I mean, he's this little short guy with this sort of high-pitched voice. He's very soft-spoken. And I've never seen him, I've seen him grit his teeth a little bit when talking to the incredibly annoying Ted Haggard.
Yeah.
That's the angriest I've ever seen him.
I've seen him completely shred somebody's dignity with a well-placed, very intelligent witticism.
Right.
As kind of a return.
And one of the witticisms that gets quoted frequently in The God Delusion, I don't have the full quote with me, but you know exactly the one I'm talking about.
Sure.
It's, God, the Christian God, is like the most unpleasant character in all of fiction. He's vindictive, brutish, angry, short-tempered, etc.
The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction, jealous and proud of it, a petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully.
Now, that's pulled out because that is frankly the strongest language in the book.
Yeah. And all the rest of the book, he's explaining why, answering questions, addressing issues,
right.
And is incredibly eloquent and inspiring at times, and near the end, talking about life as a godless person. Life, how wonderful life is, and the beauty of nature and art and all this other stuff, and how you can still appreciate all that.
Yeah.
Maybe appreciate it more.
Other books by Richard Dawkins, continuing in the tradition of the great Carl Sagan, have also touched on, what science does, he feels, to make people's lives meaningful and interesting.
Right.
So Richard Dawkins published some of these responses to criticisms in the London Times. I'm an atheist, but I wish to dissociate myself from your shrill, strident, intemperate, intolerant, ranting language.
I'm sure you're getting ready to get to the fact that those adjectives aren't true of what Dawkins says, at least not in my opinion. One thing is that they are true of what religion does, not all the time, not in every case, not with everybody. But religion is necessarily divisive. It does create an us and them mentality, and that what he hit him for, not being inclusive.
Yeah, non-inclusive, but
non-inclusive,
intolerant.
Non-inclusive and intolerant. A religious person's accusing Dawkins. That's just insane almost.
Now, I think that just his first sentence in reply to this is, incredibly straight to the point.
Right.
Very well said. Objectively judged, the language of the God Delusion is less shrill than we regularly hear from political commentators or from theater, art, book, or restaurant critics. And I saw a video of Dawkins doing a longer version of this thing I printed, and he proceeded to read some quotes from restaurant critics who said, I don't know what restaurant critics say, but it's like, this is a pathetic waste of space, worst food I've ever had. I mean, think Simon Cowell, for God's sake.
Tell the chef this is low-grade dog food.
Right. Simon Cowell, every single week on his show, says things that are more offensive than anything in the God Delusion, unless you happen to be of the mindset that anything bad said about God, even slightly bad, is worse than anything else you can say bad about anyone else.
Right.
To continue, the illusion of intemperance flows from the unspoken convention that faith is uniquely privileged, off limits to attack. In a criticism of religion, even clarity ceases to be a virtue and begins to sound like aggressive hostility. A politician may attack an opponent scathingly across the floor of the House, then he's British, and earn plaudits for his robust pugnacity. See, that's cute. You see what I mean? But let a soberly reasoning critic of religion employ what would, in other contexts, sound merely direct or forthright, and it will be described as a shrill rant. My nearest approach to stridency was my account of God as the most unpleasant character in all fiction. I don't know how well I succeeded, but my intention was closer to humorous broadside than shrill polemic. Restaurant critics are notoriously scathing, but are seldom dismissed as shrill or intolerant. A restaurant might seem a trivial target compared to God, but restaurateurs and chefs have feelings to hurt and livelihoods to lose, whereas blasphemy is a victimless crime.
He stole my bumper sticker.
So, let me bring up this question again. Are atheists really angry? We've been jokingly angry on the show so far, but I think it probably has come through that there are serious issues underlying this. When Rabbi Gelman speculated on what the random atheist off the street might say if he asked them why they were so angry, but didn't actually ask any atheists why they're so angry. If he had asked them, I think that, given the typical atheist that I know, he would have gotten one of two answers. One is, I'm not angry, what are you talking about? Or the other is, yes, I am angry, I think I have legitimate reasons to be angry, and let me tell you about them.
Right.
And I bet you none of them would have been, I heard a sermon that was mean to me.
When it comes to bullshit, big time, major league bullshit, you have to stand in awe of the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. No contest. No contest.